Now, I'd like to call Mr. Ravi Nair, Director, South Asian Human Rights Documentation Centers, to submit his views. Sir, please.
मुझे अंग्रेजी में बोलने के लिए कहा है तो मैं अंग्रेजी में बोलूँगा, जैसे NCHRO के कार्यवाहक ने बताया. There is no doubt that the Uttar Pradesh government has failed to uphold its constitutional mandate. If there was a fair central government, then the riots and the aftermath of the riots would have been adequate reason for the dismissal of the state government. State governments have been dismissed for much less in the past in other situations. Now there is no point in crying that Mr. Yogi Adityanath's government is undemocratic. That is a given. There is no argument about that. What do we do about this undemocratic, anti-human rights, anti-civil liberties government? I have a few suggestions to make. One, please collect affidavits and cases from individuals who have been beaten up by policemen, administration officials, or by people in civilian clothes who may belong to any of the right-wing Hindutva organizations. These affidavits we will then use to file cases for asking for prior permission under section 197 of the CRPC to lodge prosecutions against these individuals. I am aware that they will be very difficult to obtain, but what is being sought to be done is the creation of a record to show that there is no accountability in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Two, you must ensure that you must get copies of all the FIRs and bail applications of individuals who were arrested during the CAA agitation and subsequent to the agitation. This will show how difficult it is to get bail and the flimsiness and the vagueness of the FIRs filed. Wherever there are charge sheets filed, please also obtain them. 3, you must collect copies of all the notices for taking away, confiscating property which have been issued, any replies that have been given by those people who have received these notices. As the High Court has already in one matter, in the matter of Mr. Darapuri, issued notice to the state government asking under which law they have issued these notices, I think a collective writ petition should be filed using a large number of these confiscation notices. Finally, I think it is possible to put Mr. Yogi Adityanath and certain senior police officials and administration officials in the legal dock if we proceed properly and meticulously. Lastly, while there is a legal remedy, we must also mobilize public opinion for civil disobedience or civil nafarmani. The only solution to a government which has gone mad, which has gone berserk and has gone dictatorial is satyagraha. And राज सत्ता पर अगर अंकुश लगाना है, लगान लगाना है, तो जनता को प्रतिरोध करना चाहिए अहिंसक तरीके से, by peacefully non-violent. So both we will adopt both the non-violent method and also the legal method to make sure that this government comes to its senses. Thank you.
Oh yes, myself Mohammad Asif from Clarion India. So I have a question to Ravi Nair sir. Ravi Nair sir, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. Actually, sir, अभी आप माइक बंद कर लीजिए क्योंकि आपका शायद पीछे कुछ बैकग्राउंड नॉइज बहुत ज़्यादा है।
नहीं सर, आपका माइक
रवि हाँ रवि सर, आपने मीटिंग की शुरुआत में कुछ सवाल कुछ सजेशन दिए थे और वो सारे के सारे लीगल सजेशंस थे, लेकिन जिस तरीके से आपका डिस्कशन पूरा प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस का आगे बढ़ा, उससे ये साफ हो रहा है कि you guys have lost faith in the judiciary and legalities. So how come these suggestions are going to help? So one question from you.
I have not lost faith in the judiciary. Yes, there is a fan. I have not lost faith in the judiciary. Others may have. So I will continue to knock the doors of the judiciary until we have the freedom of speech and the freedom of association. Both are being curtailed, but you have to listen to the law of physics. The law of physics says that if you do not fill the vacuum, somebody else will. So the minute, so yeah. Hello.
From the beginning, you please start.
Yeah, I have full faith in the judiciary, unlike some others who may have spoken. I am collecting documentation, legal documentation, not to be kept in a museum, but to be used legally in courts of law, tribunals, national and international. I believe that if you do not use the legal process, then in a democratic country, however curtailed that democracy is, you are helping in making sure that the space for democracy becomes less. We are aware that democracy space in this country is less, but the law of physics operates. If you do not fill the vacuum, then somebody else will. And the undemocratic elements, unless you keep trying to expand the frontiers of freedom and liberty, will fill up the space. This is what is happening there. So I am all for approaching the judiciary with all the frustrations and exposing the problems. You have to expose the problems. There are a lot of misunderstandings. For example, Seema Asad earlier took the mentioned the article of Prakash Singh. Now that is a absolutely hypocritical article. He is talking about federal crimes. He is trying to take away the powers of the state. He does not talk about at all section 197 and and permission from the state to prosecute policemen and public officials. He did not mention it in a Supreme Court petition either. More so when the 8th report of the police commission mentioned this specifically, that 197 has no place in a democratic country. It was also mentioned in the 273rd report of the law commission. Now the question is, NGOs, lawyers, political parties do not follow up. If you do not follow up, there is no point in you blaming the state and the security state. The security state is going to take advantage of your inefficiency. I am being blunt. I do not like beating around the bush. You have to be efficient and super efficient to deal with the democratic system and the judiciary. If the judiciary is not there, then continue to expose them through how they are not alleviating the thing, and then go internationally. Has anybody of you gone internationally? No. Similarly, you mention names, you mention cases, but only you know about them. Nobody else knows about them. So what's the point? What's the point? You are educated, very well. You're only converting the converted. Please look at international. Therefore, yesterday was the anniversary of Srebrenica, where the Muslims and Bosnian Muslims were killed by the Serbian militia and soldiers. Look at the way the documentation has been done in Kosovo. Please go to the website and see. Each case has been done there. After 20 years, they are still looking at DNA. We are not doing all this. So if you do not do these things, we can keep shouting like this, we can keep crying like this, we can keep mumbling and grumbling, and nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen.